Gale nearly got a flick on that.
Can he put it into the path of Latterline? He's thinking about going himself. Latterline and Latterline! Oh, that's a wonderful goal!
They want to Benjamin. Just holding off of Benjamin, twisting, turning, that's it!
It's Liam Henderson to deliver. David Gray has scored.
Hello and welcome back to Down the Slope. We've got myself, we've got Euan, we've got Craig. Euan, you take the floor. Liam's not here, so he'll moan at us in the group chat instead. How are you getting on, mate?
Fuck that moody bastard. Oh well, I'm good, mate. I'm good. I tell you what, I'm fucking done in. I don't know. I mean, you were a bit late this evening. Me and Craig were just sitting on here waiting on you, fucking yawning. So apologies if the energy's a bit low. I don't know why I'm so tired, but no, all good. How are you?
Yeah, mate, Craig. All right, first of all, look at this. Bang, look at that for a top. Oh yeah. Bang, I'll keep the gut out there. Whoosh, look at that for a Hibs top. Absolute sensational, Craig. Talk to me. How much do you love this kit?
Do you know what? I love it even more. It's looking good on you, by the way. It's fitting well. That gym time's paying off for you, had it.
All right, enough of the schmoozing with me, Mr. Man. But in seriousness, well done to the club. I think the marketing campaign in the lead up to it was very exciting. I think the fact that they still kept us on edge leading up to the game itself with the little tease of showing the wrong home tops. Craig, it was actually a moment of excitement when they took off the training kit at the start of the game, wasn't it?
It was like a goal went in for me, to be honest. I was jumping about the place. I spotted it. I was watching them as soon as Boyle came down and took that tracksuit off, because the head loss was going to be unbelievable if they'd just kept us on strings all week for nothing. But no, I mean it's just beautiful, isn't it? It is going to be an absolute all-timer, that kit for sure.
And I'm sure we'll throw up some polls on the old Twitter at some point, but if you had to pick a favourite out of the 5 kits, I know you've only seen this one for a matter of days. Have you got a favourite out of them all?
I think it is this one, the 100. So is this is 150 years top, is it? And the other one's heritage, is that right? Have I got that right? It's the only one I've seen this year that probably straight away I've went, ooh. Whereas the other ones have maybe taken some warming to. I do really like the third kit though, but this one edges it for me. There's something really nice about the all white one, but I'm guessing we're never going to play in it.
It strikes me as that seems like a testimonial game top. It doesn't seem like the type of top you'd wear in an actual competitive match. But yeah,
let me throw a hypothetical out to you, Harry. If Hibs make the Scottish Cup final and we are not playing Celtic or anyone that would cause a clash, so that probably rules out Falkirk maybe with a really dark blue. If you could choose a kit for Hibs to wear in a Scottish Cup final this year, which would you choose?
Mate, if I could choose a kit for Hibs to wear in any game for the rest of the time that didn't clash, I would choose this kit. But in seriousness, I would 100%, in my opinion, this is a home kit. This should be a home kit for me. I think this is banging. And I know it's one of those things, and I think you're right as well in the sense that because it's unique to what we're used to, and it is just so kind of out there for us, it feels so different. But I just think it's so smart. I think they've absolutely smashed it. To be fully honest, I'm in love with this kit, and I don't think that's going to go away anytime soon. Greg, would it be dramatic to put it up there amongst favourite kits already, or is that just absolute recency bias?
Nah. For me, it's almost right at the top for me, to be honest. It was kind of surreal actually when we were watching us playing it the other day. It did seem a bit bizarre, but I think something that probably the majority of Hibs fans will absolutely love. I know there is some out there that aren't too keen on it, which everybody's entitled to their opinion, I suppose. But I'm in love with it, so it's definitely right up there for me.
Nice. And we've done enough kit shagging in the first 4 minutes of this podcast. I'm sure we might come back to it later on at some point. But Hibernian Football Club were made, I'm assuming, on a roller coaster, because this club just seems to like to go up, down, round and round. And wearing a new kit that we were all excited for, we should have just went out and pumped them 5-0, but instead it was a 3-3 thriller. I was very angry, I was very happy, I was everything in between. Euan, talk to me about the team and just your kind of overview of the game.
I think in general, in terms of the emotion coming out the ground. I certainly felt frustrated. That was, I still, don't get me wrong, I'm still very, very happy where the club's at. Still really happy sort of with the squad. I think we've got a really good squad, and I still believe we'll have a really good season. Like, nothing's changed, but I was frustrated and probably borderline disappointed. Actually, I think, like if I'm being totally honest, the performance was good in a lot of spells, but considering that we were 2 goals down as well in the second half, normally that would come with maybe a little bit of feeling of sort of elation to get back into the game, but that wasn't something that I felt on Saturday evening, to be honest with you. I definitely felt much more frustrated than anything else leaving the ground, which probably the first time really feeling that way at Easter Road for a long time, actually.
Yeah, Craig, start of the season, obviously 3 games at home that we probably would have expected at least a couple of wins out of. But I'll try and keep positive. I've decided that after the derangement of last season, I'm going to try and be as positive as much as possible. But what were the key happy takeaways from this game, if anything, Craig?
Key happy. Look, I agree with you, and I think the performance overall, and certainly we nearly got away with it, but the sort of really important spells of the game, the sort of after the first 15 minutes after they scored, I didn't think we obviously we equalised, but I don't think the response was that great. But the positive, to take me back on track, is that we still scored 3 goals when overall I didn't think we were that great. And on top of that, we did create a lot of chances, especially towards the end, and created more than enough chances to win a game of football. And I think the frustration that goes along with that positive part is that scoring 3 goals at Easter Road should be enough to win us a game of football. So that would be the frustration. But yeah, I'm happy that we're scoring goals, and we look like a team that can score goals from all different types of ways. Obviously, we score from a corner, and although the keeper makes a mistake and makes a bit of an arse of it and puts it in his own net, I don't think it's not so much just down to him having a howler. I think it's also down to what we do. It's a great delivery into the box, and I think Rocky's in the right place at the right time without actually doing anything that's going to foul the goalie. I think he's there and being strong and standing his ground, and I would argue he's forced the mistake out the goalie.
Yeah, I know. It was just when you're talking about positives. The positives are that we score 3 goals, but I agree with Craig that we created enough chances to win the game, but Dundee United also created enough chances to win the game. So like I've not come away from that game thinking anything other than both teams got what they deserved, to be honest. And the frustration is absolutely coupled with the when you mentioned, Harry, the 2 home games previously as well. Now, in my mind, they are 3 games that Hibs should expect to win at home. Although, to be honest, I think we should expect to win most games at home in the league. But there is also maybe a fact that is maybe some snobbery, maybe even from me, as because Dundee United and St Mirren are, as it stands, like they are both top 6 sides. They finished in the top 6 last season, were extremely competitive. Dundee United finished 4th. St Mirren, outside Celtic and Rangers, the only team to sort of put 3 back-to-back top 6 seasons in a row in the last 3 years. So like they are difficult games, but they did feel like games that we should have won, and that probably lent more to the frustration than actually what happened on the pitch, if that makes sense. I think it was an accumulation of again, you know what I mean? Like,
do you know what?
Just to jump in quickly, you can say what you want, Craig, after. I just think it's funny that Euan said, just speaking of positives, and then listed massive negatives.
I know.
Sorry, Craig, no, I get what you're saying.
I'm actually going to rhyme off probably more negatives as well. Although, again, go with you, and like this isn't like a rant about how I'm raging with Hibs and everything's crap. Everything's good. Hibs are in a very good place. However, ultimately the last 3 results at home in the league have been frustrating, definitely. I think I'm probably more frustrated by the Dundee United game, because I feel with the European stuff, there was massive context there with them. We were coming off the back of really hard, long European ties, and the players were tired mentally, physically. So I felt like they got a bit more of the benefit of the doubt in these ones. this one I was just disappointed. I don't think we were passing the ball with enough pace, particularly in the first half. Started the game well the first 10 minutes, but then I thought we drifted back out of it. And I was just expecting us to go through them. However, I was impressed with Dundee United. I thought they looked a much better side, a much better footballing side than they did last year. So yeah, it is a frustrating one, but there's still really good things to come out of this side.
Yeah, I was actually going to say exactly that on Dundee United. I think last year, as we all know, I wasn't very impressed with them. I think they were defensively sound. I think they had a big man up top. I think that was at number 8. All of the pitch for them was brilliant. I think that when they got forward, it's the duality of football fan, like even the way Craig was talking about their goal, like from our perspective, Rocky does a great job forcing an error. And even for their second goal, it's like we're pressing them really high and essentially force the error, get a goal. And from our perspective, and you and I know you're going to kind of break it down a bit further, the 3 goals we conceded are absolute calamitous across the board, to be honest. But from their perspective, I think they're very well worked. I think that they seem to have a bit of fluidity when going forward. So
they kept their front 3 really high, which posed a lot of issues for us. But I think you're spot on, Harry. I think both teams will feel like they've handed the other team 3 goals.
Yeah, exactly. But Euan, just I'm going to open the floor to you now. Euan wants to do a tactical pick. Me and Craig are excited to see what's going on. I know Euan's touched on it. He touched on it in a breakfast club a couple of weeks ago, and why he thinks that slight tweaks to the system that we've got this season might not work as well as the system that we played last season. Is that a fair tee off for you, Euan? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
100%, aye. No, 100%. So
here's my friend.
We're very clearly playing some variation of sort of 3-4-3 now. And I think the change has come about. We've done it in Europe, and I didn't like it, to be honest. And we're still doing it in Scotland. I'm not convinced, but I'm not really going to touch on the first goal because I think anyone with set eyes can see that Nicky Cadden lets Lucas Stevenson bully him and get to the ball first, and that's where the goals come from. I think the second goal and the third goal both expose weaknesses, maybe not so much in the shape, but in the personnel that we're deploying within the shape, if that makes sense. So for audio listeners, I'll try and be as descriptive as possible, but I have bumped some screenshots of a BBC iPlayer to try and aid my description for those that are watching on YouTube. So this is the start of the second goal. This comes from a Hibs goal kick or a free kick that Smith sent long. Bowie's lost out in the first ball, and Mulligan's got stuck under it. From our own goal kick, over half of our team are ahead of the ball, which I think's madness. Like, as soon as their left winger gets the ball, there is only 4 Hibs players behind the ball, one of them being Dylan Levitt. And you know, he's not exactly going to cover much ground on a kick to try and prevent a counter-attack, as we see in this goal. Chris Cadden and Nicky Cadden are far too high, in my opinion. I think there's absolutely no requirement for both of them to be that high and that far ahead of the ball when it's a long ball. You should be anticipating second balls, and more often than not, they drop back towards where the ball's coming from. And it's kind of a recurring theme. We've seen it a lot in the Partizan game, where I think the 2 in midfield are being asked to do far too much with the split 10s ahead of them. Obviously, on Saturday it was Boyle and McGrath, and then as this move sort of develops, you see the guy gets forward, the Mulligan's trying to get back, but again, the distances are far too high. I think when Chris Cadden's so high up the pitch, there's about 30 yards of space almost between him and Warren O'Hora, where the left winger just gets to drive straight at our back line. I think if we're moving that, if we're playing that high with the wing backs that high, the defenders also then need to be probably in their half, because the distances are far too high. There's far too big a gap to be exposed, and I don't really think there's any excuse for that when it's coming from a dead ball. I understand in like sort of a live game that you know things can get stretched, but when you're in a sort of position, Harry, you know, to like control your shape at that point of view, I don't think there's really any requirement for it. Yeah, and then as it moves on, Rocky and O'Hora obviously dive in, but I just want to highlight Dylan Levitt. So if we go back to the first screenshot, again, sorry. So Levitt's just inside the Dundee United half. And if you're watching on YouTube, the Dundee United player who's under the scoreboard, he's the player that eventually takes the ball round Jordan Smith. Levitt's in a pretty good position in terms of he's sort of side by side in terms of distance to the Hibs goal. As the attack moves on, that player is going round Jordan Smith inside our box, and Dylan Levitt is still 15 yards outside our box. And that's not a criticism of Dylan Levitt, but I just simply don't think we can play this shape with him as the sort of genuine sitter, because Mulligan bombs every time. I think it's a bit ill-disciplined from Mulligan to get stuck under the ball, but it just leaves us far too exposed. Levitt just simply can't cover the ground.
Why? But why is that not a criticism of Dylan Levitt? He's got 5 yards on his man, and then he loses him.
But, well, if you're not as quick as someone, no. But I mean, I think if you're not as quick as someone, you're not as quick as someone. Just sort of what I mean.
Get your body in front of him and block his run as he's going.
Yeah. So
just
I think, yeah, well, that's absolutely valid. I don't like criticizing someone for saying you haven't got the agility to, like, if you just don't have it, you don't have it. And I don't think he should be being utilised in this way.
I thought he was jogging. I personally thought he was jogging when he was coming back, and I don't think that's agility or anything. I think that's just defensive awareness and work rate, to be honest.
Yeah. So there is definitely, I think, a lacking of defensive awareness from Levitt as well. So obviously, like, you can go and watch the highlights on Hibs or Sports Scene or whatever you want to do, but Levitt doesn't even really switch on to the fact that when the guy goes round Smith, there could be a cutback until the guy's already played the pass. So, like, even that you see him try to make a dart back, it's just, for me, it just perfectly shows that if we can get that exposed from our own goal kick, because we've got far too many players ahead of the ball, one of the two midfielders has been, in my opinion, too aggressive to try and follow up the play, got stuck under it. One pass and they're in behind our goal, in behind our back line, running down on the keeper, unopposed, really, 30-40 yards. I think that just can't happen. An open play, and that's different, but from sort of a dead ball situation, I just think that's really, really poor. But question marks over Smith. I think Smith feels like he's got to try and influence the play a little bit, Harry, and I think you were more critical of him at the game than I was. On reflection, I think it's a mistake.
Observations. First of all, I get what you're saying about Levitt, but I think that the real error here, and I'm not saying that Levitt's done well, but I think the real thing is, and correct me if I'm wrong, we seem to be playing a much higher line than we did towards the end of last season.
It was a massive theme on Saturday, how high we were.
And I think that, being honest, if Levitt was with his man, chasing his man whilst he was going round the keeper, I would be thinking, what is he doing? I think that the reason...
It was never his man, it was just his possession.
Listen. I think the reason that Levitt looks that bad is because we're playing such a high line. Like, his player should have been handed off to a centre-back, but Rocky and O'Hora have essentially tackled each other in Iredale's in no man's land. No, I don't think it's Iredale's fault either, because he's doing his best. I think that the calamity started... again, it's one of those ones.
It's disjointed.
You blame everybody. Exactly.
It is. It's a collective, because you're saying that we've got the high line, which we did, but the criticism is still actually that there's far too much space between the midfield, the wing backs, and the back three. So, and either the defense has to even be 5 yards further up to close, or the two Caddens and the two midfielders should be 5 to 10 yards deeper. But what I'm thinking is their left winger to get the ball in 20 yards of space unopposed. That can't happen. Like, that just should not happen.
Just based off what you've said, though, do you think that the tactic is to compensate for the fact that they've not got the extra body? Do you think they're trying to kill that space by playing the high line and just trusting that we won't let teams in behind us like that? By the way, if you aren't a tactic nerd and you're not enjoying this, get it up, But
I think the high line is fine, and I think we've got with Rocky's pace, we've got incredible recovery pace. So what we're trying to do is condense the game, force basically, because I actually think there's, in my opinion, when we've been trying to build attacks a lot this season, the backline, we've been trying to do it from too deep. I think the backline at times, especially when we're trying to be on the front foot, maybe more in the European games, I think could have been doing with being a little bit higher when we've been trying to force the issue. Like not in the earlier points of games, but I think too often I've seen sort of O'Hora, Rocky, Iredale sort of releasing the ball 20, 25 yards from their goal when really their starting position could be much closer to the halfway line. The high line, I don't think is what kills us there. I think it's the lack of pressure on the left winger, which comes from Mulligan being far too far forward, Chris Cadden being far too far forward, and then Levitt being exposed in the middle of the pitch. Levitt could probably read it better and maybe get over and influence it. He does just sort of go back in a straight line, doesn't influence the play at all. For me, I don't love the shape. So the reason I think the shape would be better the same way as it is last year is you've got two in the middle of the pitch that then have the 10 and directly in front of them. So naturally they won't feel the need to push up as much. If that, I think it naturally becomes more to 6s, whereas just now it's very much like 2 8s, and Mulligan definitely bombs on, which is great. It's the biggest strength of his game. I wouldn't want him to be pigeonholed and just to sit in front of the defence. But I just find I think if we continue to play this shape, the midfield has to. I think Dylan Levitt's a really good Hibs player, but I don't think he can play in this shape. I don't think we've seen it. See when we played 4-4-2 under Nick Montgomery, and him and Joe Neal got run over. This shape leaves that open again, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I'm going to move us on up because I think, just in case there's people that aren't listening for tactical reasons. And if you did enjoy that, then please, we've got a comment section on YouTube and we've got a Twitter account. So please let us know if you enjoyed that segment. And if you did, we can break shit down more often. We might even get some videos involved, Craig. Would that be fun?
Mate, I would love that. I actually quite enjoyed listening to you talk there.
I enjoyed listening to it as well. But as I say, we are a podcast for the people up the cabbage. Yeah. But in terms of closing thoughts on the game, I think one player that we'll go through a few individuals because I always think it's good to highlight individuals, whether positive or negative or constructive, should I say. And for me, on the constructive end of things, I know he scored, but I just think that's one of those games we probably should have expected more from Bowie. I think that he actually did get a decent volume of chances and he did snatch at them. And it's good that he's such a high level Hibs player that we can expect more when he scored goals. I think the chance in the second half he flashed over the bar, but then again, really good save for the keeper in the first half when he got it on the end of a diving header somehow. So maybe I am being a bit harsh, but Euan, I know that you were kind of on the side of.
No, if I'm being honest, I don't think he had his best game. I thought. It depends on what way you look at the refereeing performance. The ref probably let a lot go. It's not. I wouldn't say in terms of the fit. I thought the ref was dreadful, but in terms of that physical side between the centre back and the centre forward, I didn't feel like he was given too many fouls against Bowie. For instance, you know what I mean. But it felt like Bowie was on his arse a lot of the game. The header in the first half's a good chance. It's a half chance. It's a good save, if not really good save. I think he's got to score twice out with his goal in the second half. I think Hoylett lays 2 on a plate for him. The header is woeful. He's unmarked. The header is really bad. But he's unmarked, sort of 10 yards from goal. Should be his bread and butter. He just got to knock it back into that corner and he just gets too much out. He doesn't. He tries
to head through it rather than just putting it back. He should have put it into the ground, I think, maybe. But
maybe being a little bit too.
A question for you, Craig. I've said it. I don't actually know if we've even said it on the pod. I've said it to Bex loads, and she gets annoyed at me because I keep saying it. But I think that in European football, I think Bowie is going to get a lot more than he will domestically. I think that the Scottish game is very physical, and referees typically tend to let the physical battle happen more so. I think Bowie ended up getting 5 yellow cards given against him in European games, whereas domestically just doesn't seem to get the same, decisions from the refs.
to be honest, I think that'll go game by game. I think you'll just have some referees that'll buy it and some that won't. I think at the weekend the referee definitely looked as if he was out to try and prove a point or make an example out of Bowie that he wasn't going to buy anything that Bowie was trying to sell. That being said, I thought there was a couple to me that were clearly, obviously, as a defender, before you play Bowie, they'll have done their homework and they'll know exactly what he's about. So I would imagine the vast majority of them will try and meet Bowie's physicality with more physicality, and we'll try and basically win that battle with him. And I thought there was a couple of times where the centre half definitely done too much and was fouling Bowie. Their first goal, I think it was in particular, there was a foul in the build up to that one. I can't remember if it was first or second, to be fair, but there was one of them that was 2 fouls in the build up on Bowie. He's gonna get it as part of his game, and I know Euan said he spent a lot of the time on the deck, but on another week I think he's a lot of the time spent on the deck is going to be winning Hibs fouls. So I've no real worries or anything with Bowie. I didn't think he was great at the weekend, but I wouldn't say I thought.
Yeah, there's no concern.
He scores, and I think he's really unlucky with another one, and then he definitely snatches at 1 or 2 other ones as well. But listen, he's in the right place on a consistent basis now, and he's getting loads of chances. So, and he's scoring plenty of goals as well. So.
Yeah, well, can we just ask him to find his form against the Dundee clubs and other domestic games? Like that'd be fantastic. Because I don't know what issues he's got with the City, Dundee, other. I don't know.
He scored a brace the last time, didn't he? So,
and he bullied. I think he's got like 5 of his goals have been against Dundee, and he's only played them 3 or 4 times. He scored at Tannadice. I think he scored in the 3-0 game and the 3-1 game in the split. Like, I think the only team I think only one of his league goals have been non-Dundee teams.
There you go. But is there any other players from that game at the weekend you want to highlight? Otherwise, I'll move us on.
Nicky Cadden can't play left wing back, especially when Jack Iredale's not in the best of form. Nicky Cadden's the reason we never won the game. He chucked out.
It's harsh. It's harsh, but it was blatantly obvious that it was a winger playing as a sort of half defender, if you like. The third goal for Dundee United, I think he looks over his shoulder once, maybe right at the start of his run back, and then he's completely oblivious that the attacker's there literally until he swings to kick the ball, and Lucas Stevenson meets it before him. I just don't think he actually even knew that he was there. I think if that's a beat in that position, you see him checking his shoulder half a dozen times before that ball is even coming into the box, and probably does a better job of getting on it. But I think it's also important because obviously he gets done for the first goal as well. The first goal, I actually don't have as much of an issue with Nicky Cadden because I think that's a really, really good header, and the guy is really strong. If you watch it, he's actually like in the air, off balance as he's heading it. And 9 times out of 10, I don't think a striker scores that header. And I think you probably say, well, you didn't win the header, but you did enough to put him off. The third goal is very, very poor. But like all of them, I don't want to dig Nicky Cadden out too much. I know you are, but I think
I don't want to do it either. But
but I think every goal you could criticise a good 3 or 4 Hibs players and their role in the goal. Like, I don't think it comes about just as we don't lose the game as a result of what Nicky Cadden's done. Every goal has got 3 or 4 players that you could blame as well.
No, I disagree. The first goal is entirely on Nicky Cadden. He's got the man where he needs.
Sorry, just to say, I just want to chime in here because I get what you're saying. But for the first goal, there's literally 10 yards of space between the crosser and anybody nearby. I'm not saying that absolves Nicky Cadden. But then the second goal, Chris Cadden got marched back about 15 yards, didn't manage to close down in time to block the cross. It was 2 balls put into dangerous. It was 2 balls into a dangerous area. Cadden 100% should have done better for both goals, but I'm just saying, and I get the frustration at him because he's the immediate cause from his mistake or his error or lapse of judgment, whatever, to the goal. But I do think, as Craig said, I think putting the not lack of win just on Nicky Cadden's incredibly harsh win.
Maybe it's not why we didn't win, but it is directly the reason for Dundee United's first and third goals. Absolutely. So the third goal, Chris Cadden, as he is every single game now, and to be honest, whoever plays at left wing back on the other side is isolated one-on-one every time. And on the right-hand side, we miss Lewis Miller like a hole in the head. No, that's a bad thing. We miss Lewis Miller so much because Warren O'Hara started the season well. I can't believe I've just said that. Warren O'Hara started the season so well, but he's a centre-back. Like he is a centre-back that is not comfortable out wide. We've seen it when the pair of them played at Aberdeen in the split and Keskinen ripped the pair of them apart. O'Hara is not comfortable going out wide, which leaves Cadden one-on-one every time, goes back to the shape, because then you need your centre midfielder to try and go over, but he's already covering all the ground. But Chris Cadden is getting left one-on-one, whereas what you should, and if you indulge me just very, very quickly on the third goal, there's no need. If you just look at that image, O'Hara can be out supporting Cadden behind him to prevent the guy from going down the line, but he's not. O'Hara, Rocky, and Iredale are marking one player, and obviously Cadden sleeping at the back post. For me, it's terrible defence all round, but it still comes back to Nicky Cadden has one job defensively: mark their right wing back, and he's let him score twice. He has, and I appreciate he's not a natural defender, but he plays the same position. So just think what he would be doing in that situation. Like there's no excuse, and the first goal is just as bad as the third goal. And I don't think you can play Nicky Cadden at left wing back if the team have a competent right hand side in terms of going forward. If you're playing Nicky Cadden in this shape, I think he has to play where Jamie McGrath's been playing. Honestly, I really do. I think he's a liability defensively just now.
I think if we're as high as we are, I think Nicky Cadden gets exposed defensively, as you would kind of expect, because, like we say, he's not a defender. But I agree fully with you. The third one is probably annoys me more, because I think that's just look over your shoulder and the job's done, and you can track him, because Nicky Cadden's an honest guy. Like, he would, if he knows he's there, he's going to try and get in front of him and stop him getting on the ball. It's not for a lack of effort. It's just he's not.
It's the risk you take, isn't it? It's the risk you take when you play a naturally front foot player, that he's very much in the team for the threat he carries with, his deliveries. He's from set piece and open play. He still puts some incredible crosses in and stuff like that on the weekend, but just so poor for the two goals.
Can I give him another wee help out as well, and say, not to suck up to him or anything, but both balls in are, if it was a Hibs player putting those balls in, you would say they're fucking brilliant balls. It's perfect in between the defenders and the goalie into no man's land. If a centre half tries to put his foot on that, he's at risk of putting it in his own net. And I think he's just done by it. And the first one's a great ball in as well. Like, it's got pace on it, and it drops at the perfect point in the box. So
the first one, he just
all right, lads. I think we've spoken about this enough. Nicky Cadden, if you're defending, please defend better. Dundee United, if you're crossing against Hibs, please cross.
I understand.
That's exactly. Get the fuck. But moving on from the game, I think it was frustrating. I think in context, being 2 goals down and clawing back, I think is good. I think another learning for me, I don't know if he deserved man of the match. I thought he was actually quite good second half. McGrath, I think, is probably our number one penalty taker moving forward. But it's just nice to know that you've actually got a penalty taker, to be honest. So that made me happy. But moving on to where I think we're going to get a penalty this weekend, we are making the trip to Ibrox in the League Cup quarter final. And a little game we're going to play is, I'm just going to say positions, and you are both going to tell me who you think should play them. We're going to assume that we're going to play a 3-5-2/3-4-3. So when I say random positions, you can just fill them in and see if we agree. Nice. Does that all make sense? What we'll do is we'll go goals each, and then you can either agree or disagree. So, for example, Craig, goalkeeper.
Salinger.
Euan, agree or disagree?
Disagree.
I agree, but on this basis, it's not because I want Smith dropped. I just think that Salinger seems to be the cup goalkeeper. I'm just going to assume that he is. Aye.
He's the new Matt Macy.
I hate that.
The 300 grand Matt Macy.
Not, would you rather just keep Smith in goals? Do you think it's too big a game to make changes at the back?
No, I don't love changing the goalkeeper just for the sake of it. Smith maybe made a mistake for the second goal on reflection. Probably just felt he needed to influence the play, but made a couple of really good saves in the second half. It's probably one that I'm least sort of, if the change was made, then fine, but I would just edge Smith.
I'm not particularly bothered about Smith coming out, but if I put myself in Salinger's shoes, Smith has made, what is it, multiple errors this season already. And a couple of them has looked very, very dodgy in some of the games, nervous almost.
So what happens though?
Is he just not doing enough in training to get in, or is it just because he's very loyal to his number one goalie?
I think Smith's just been the number one.
But
I think
from Salinger's point of view, he's probably thinking, "Fucking hell, what do I have to do to actually get a game here?"
Indulge me a little bit then, right? So the worst happens. We go out the cup, but so Salinger plays. We go out. Salinger has a good game. Let's say we fucking lose on penalties, but he saves a couple of them. And we didn't have another cup game to play till January. If he's only playing because he's the cup goalkeeper, but he plays well in his game, who plays against Falkirk on the Tuesday night?
I think it's probably Smith. I think he goes back to...
So regardless of what Salinger does, so then I would ask him, what's the point in playing him?
I don't know, just kept going. Just give him a game. It's just an opportunity to give him a game.
But if he's not good,
just putting it into a different example though, Euan. Like Kelleher at Liverpool, like he played the cup final, even though Alisson's a far superior goalkeeper. You know what I mean? Like it was just his bag. I just think at the moment, I think that Gray's probably said to him, "Look, you're our Smith at the moment's our number one keeper. I still want to give you opportunities in cup games. Just show what you can do, and then if your opportunity comes,
I appreciate the context.
That's my assumption.
I appreciate the context you're given, but we're also comparing the Carabao Cup for Liverpool and the League Cup for Hibs. I would suggest Hibs in the League Cup's about the same as the Champions League for Liverpool in terms of likelihood of winning it. But anyway, next position.
All right, Euan, 3 centre backs.
Oh, all 3.
I just thought that one by one. This is the longest rapid fire segment.
Probably the same. Sorry, probably the same. I think the same. I think the same defence. In terms of the back 3, O'Hara's been fine. Rocky's been decent enough still. Iredale's been struggling, but I think, like I said, I don't think you can play Nicky Cadden at left wing back. So by default, Iredale plays on the left. I don't think Mitchell is a left footer, and I don't think I'd feel that comfortable with him making his first start. So same again for me.
Any opinion on that, Craig?
It's difficult. I'll correct you, and O'Hara's been very good this season. He's not been fine. I play O'Hara, Rocky, and I was very tempted with a beat at left centre half because I've been a bit concerned with Iredale recently. I think he's going through a wee bad spell. He looks a wee bit nervous. But then the left wing back point is actually a good point, to be fair.
Hanley struggled at left centre back, didn't he, against Kelly?
Did he fuck? I'm sorry, I'm not having this notion. I seen
was
that
it not like more on the ball?
I seen that going about a lot after the game. He looked slightly uncomfortable once or twice when it was on his left side, but then he just put it back onto his right and got rid of it. I thought Hanley was absolutely fine.
You see his performance away at Denmark, which was tremendous.
I was going to point this out. Sorry, Harry's trying to do a quick fire, and we're fucking doing in-depth tactical stuff. No, I'll stick with Iredale, Rocky, O'Hara then if I'm pushed.
All right. I'm trying to think of ways to make this more interesting, guys. I thought it was going to be like a back and forth, like, no, you're wrong, no, you're. Fullbacks, are we agreeing on? We're going to swap a beat in, and we're going to keep Chris Cadden.
Yep.
So I'll ask. You know what? Instead of, did you say no, Craig?
I said no.
What are you doing then?
Megwa.
Oh, left or
Megwa.
right side?
No, fucking right side.
He played left side a few times for Partick, didn't he?
I know that's fair. But he was absolutely rotten for Partick, so I'll put him right wing back in place of Cadden. I love Cadden, but his lack of pace defending has concerned me, so I'd like to see Megwa have a go in there.
I think that's ballsy. I like it. I don't know if I agree with it, but I like it. Euan, you look appalled.
I definitely don't agree with it. By the way, I know I was quite critical of Megwa towards before the season started in terms of saying I don't think he should really be an option for us, but it's not that. I just no. Away Ibrox.
Give the laddie a go. You never know until you try him.
I think we have seen him a
Give him
couple
a
of
go.
times. And
Live, laugh, love, Euan. Live, laugh, love.
no.
He played away at Midtjylland, and I thought he was quite decent when he came on, so get him in.
He was good against Livy away, to be fair.
Struggled in Warsaw. And he came on. Positioning all wrong for their goal. I don't know. Chris Cadden still for me. I think the stick Chris Cadden's getting now is poor. I don't think he's being very well supported by the player behind him, and he's getting isolated. I'll stick with Chris Cadden.
Ohora there.
That's
wild.
I don't think Ahora's. No, so
Ahora's job is not to play right wing back for Chris Cadden.
Ahora's job is to defend the right hand side of the back three, and I think he is defending well, but he is not comfortable in the wider positions, which is abundantly clear, and he is simply not putting himself out there to be exposed, which is leaving Chris Cadden. It's leaving Chris Cadden 1-on-1 every time, which ask anyone in world football, you do not want your fullback being left fucking 1-on-1 with a winger. Like,
was Josh Mulligan not across there with Chris Cadden as well?
Mulligan's like 5-10 yards behind him. He's trying to get there, but again,
I feel
so Mulligan loses the ball, or he's involved in the play on the east touchline. The ball was passed to the left winger, who squares Chris Cadden up 1-on-1. Mulligan kind of gets there, he's about 5 yards behind him, but at no point in time is the scenario that he's ever going to chop back in. O'Hara should be moving over, in my opinion, to support Cadden, which stops the option of going out down the outside. It's not the only time we've seen it.
I think in that scenario, Chris Cadden should know that if the guy's going to chop back, he's got a midfielder, Mulligan, who, if Mulligan's within 5-10 yards, he's making it. The guy's not going to get past him because Mulligan's fucking well fast. Chris Cadden, all he has to focus on there is blocking the ball down the line. Anyway, Megwa, you're my guy. Let's do it.
I think that was fun. Guys, let us know what you think. Megwa Cadden, let's get that conversation on the go.
Definitely will be our left wing back.
I think we all agree with that. I think even before the game at the weekend, I think against Celtic and Rangers, I'd probably always prefer a beater, just because he's pretty good both ends of the pitch. Middle of the park, Mulligan. All right, let's just do the question. Chaiwa or Levitt, assuming both are available.
What's the chat with Chaiwa actually?
I'm just assuming it's because he was on international duty, so he was knackered. I think
he was tired.
Chaiwa. I don't know. Probably Mulligan, but I'm not 100% sold.
You'd potentially take Mulligan out.
Aye.
Craig, get involved in that. What?
Oh no. What
against Rangers?
I don't know.
Oh no.
I think he gets caught on the wrong side of the ball too often. Kind of sells them. I don't know. The new there's something to me that. So the way I would see it is Chaiwa as a Mulligan replacement, and Barsala, him to maybe the pair of them playing. Look, if Mulligan plays, like it's not an ounce like concern, but just I don't know. Maybe
I can't believe you've said that. I'm shocked. I thought Mulligan's. He's the banker. He's the one we're all.
All I'm looking at is if we're playing two in there, because I just don't see the shape changing, because he played it away at Partizan, we've played it at home at we've played it everywhere. So I think the shape is going to stay the same. So, and I'm not convinced that either the two midfielders that are playing it now are excelling in it.
Can I just say, I don't know if you did have the chance to listen to any of David Gray's post-match interviews at the weekend.
Yes.
I think the tone and the sort of the way he was speaking definitely suggested to me that there will be some kind of change, whether it's actually a physical setup change or whether it's just a change in sort of mindset. But he looked very frustrated at the end and talked about how he knows that we're getting caught and he knows that there's work to do. And it was him saying, in my opinion, that we're going to change something.
It actually wouldn't surprise me. I'm going to change it. I think it'll be Barsala. Someone help me out here. Him, Mulligan, and Chaiwa.
Barlaser, I think. I don't know.
I think it'll be the three of them.
Dan the man.
Yeah, with that, Greg.
Sorry, say Euan again. I was too focused on the pronunciation there.
Dan the man, Mulligan, and Chaiwa.
That's actually what I was going to say. I was impressed
with a slight change of shape. But
I was impressed with Dan when he came on. I thought he looked quite tidy on the ball. The first maybe like couple of touches weren't great, but then I thought he settled massively after that. And he was spreading the ball about well. He looked quite a powerful runner as well, which I wasn't expecting when he picked up the ball. So I like that. I've been well impressed with Chaiwa. I think from everything we've seen so far, I feel like that's a game that he'll relish, going to a place like Ibrox and playing there. So I would be very tempted with Chaiwa. I've
just had a
Chaiwa, Mulligan, McGrath. I'm going to go back to that.
I wonder.
McGrath's been good. So,
do you think? No, look, I don't care. Regardless how poorly Rangers have been playing, I still think Rangers will dominate the ball, and which I think will suit us because I think you can get at them in a heartbeat. Do you think there's a scenario where he could potentially play Mulligan in the same style as how he's been playing McGrath, in that sort of like the split 10? So where it would, having like Mulligan slightly further forward, McGrath slightly further forward off of Bowie. And, then you've still got Dan the man and Chaiwa behind them. Kind of how Scotland for a while had like McTominay and McGinn in these sort of positions off of one striker. I don't know. It's interesting. There's by the way, there's options, which is good because look, if Levitt plays, I'm not worried. If Mulligan plays, I'm not worried. If Chaiwa plays, I'm not worried. We're really well stocked in the middle of the pitch, which is nice.
I'd like to see us go with the options that are athletic and can get about the place, and that when we're sitting in, I see us as sitting in at the weekend, because I think if you watched any Rangers games at Ibrox, the way to beat them is very simple, because they're so uninventive and so lethargic and boring on the ball and just want to pass it sideways. You essentially just sit in front of them, let them pass it about, nick it off them and break on them. They're so easily got at. And if that continues, I feel like I've said it every week, not on the podcast, but sort of when we've been watching Rangers, like surely there's something coming for them at some point, because they can't be that shite all the time. But certainly if we're to go off so far this season, they're very, very predictable. And I would sit and bide their time, frustrate them, and then just hit them on the counter. And I think you could get serious joy out of it, because I actually look at our team when man for man against theirs at this moment in time anyway, while they're so poor, and we're better than them in most positions, and I think we should be beating them. But
yeah. Anyway, Harry, what would be your sort of midfield 2 or 3, depending on what you think's?
It's a hard one. I think I'll just drop what you guys are saying. To be fair, I think the main thing we need to do in this game is we need to cover ground, and we need to do it a lot with intensity. I think the reason that Hearts won is because they were not afraid to press very high up the pitch. I think for some reason Rangers don't like having they play their fullbacks insanely high, so they don't really have an out ball, and like the midfielders don't really drop into the space.
The midfielders fucking split wide. If you can
there's so much space to exploit, and I just think if we have legs on the pitch, I think they'll make mistakes and crack. So
Josh Campbell, you're in.
For me, I would have Chaiwan Mulligan, and I think that whether it's Barlazar, or however you pronounce his name, or Levitt, I think both players are very good. I think that so
do you think it will be sort of free, sort of genuine centre mids as opposed to like a McGrath in front of them or a Hoylett or whatever?
I think
I find we could go to the free just central midfielders.
I think that Dan the Man, I think he'll sit a bit deeper. I think that he'll David Gray really likes to have the pivot. He likes to have a player that will take the ball off the midfielders, the defenders, and try and move the ball forward. And I think that that's what Dan will do if he comes in. I know that Levitt's been doing it, but as you say, if we're playing with a 2, then it makes it a bit harder. And I think one thing that was really noticeable with Dan the Man is the fact that he's really happy to try ambitious balls. He tried about 3 or 4 in only 15 minutes or however long he was on. And I think that this game, we need pace in behind. And that's why for up top, I love the boy McGrath, but I think we need pace. So for me, I've got Bowie in the middle, and then I'm slamming Cleege and Boyle either side. I think that we just need,
I swear that means you've got 12 players then.
I said I'm not playing McGrath. I said I'm dropping McGrath.
Mulligan, Chaiwa, and Dan the Man. If you've got 3 centre mids, you've only got 2 strikers.
That's true, actually. All right. Well, fine then. I'll go Cleege Bowie. I wouldn't be bold enough to drop Bowie. That's a shame. I was excited for that front 3. Maybe you drop Dan and then you just go gung ho and just absolutely batter them across the pitch. No, I think midfield. I think 3 in the centre of the park and 2 up top makes more sense for me for this game. And yeah, that's I want to see Cleege. I know Gray's wanting to ease him in, and I know it's a difficult game to throw him into, but I think a Rangers team that are kind of on their heels and there to get got at, I think he's the type of guy that will get stuck in. I know Boyle is as well. But the good thing is, no matter who you start, you've got the other one to come off the bench, and that's a very strong option off the bench at a stadium with a pitch that big. What about you guys for a front 2 then? Who are you locking in?
I'm Bowie and Boyle. I don't... Definitely Bowie. Bowie 100% for me is undroppable, especially going to Ibrox. Put him up against Giga, and he'll ragdoll him about the place. Giga will be on skates the entire game. And I don't feel like Boyle has been that bad. I know there's been some criticism going about it. It's not been wild criticism or anything like that, but I still think Boyle's one of the first names on the team sheet in our team.
I don't think that Boyle's
bad. But I do take the point. I want to say Cleege as well. I do want to see Cleege. And I was impressed when we came on at the weekend. I thought he was quite decent. He was bright enough for the weekend.
I think one thing with Boyle, though, I just wanted to check, sorry to jump in, but I think one thing that kind of kick-started him on to a game last season was the fact he actually had time out of the team. I don't think that he's got any form of arrogance complex this year. I'm not saying that at all, but I just think that rotation can be healthy, and sometimes just having time out to reset. I know that he's just back from international duty as well. So for me, I really wouldn't I don't think that he'd begrudge being on the bench. Obviously, you know what I mean. I don't think that playing Cleege this game means that Boyle's dropped eternally. I just think it gives Cleege a chance in the cup, similar to the same vein of Salinger.
I just think when Boyle's scored, if you actually look at away games as well, the amount of
3 goals and it's been European time.
Very fair. Very fair. He does a goal against Rangers too.
Well, that's actually I could be totally wrong, but I do think Boyle across the league still carries. I still like the name tax. I think defenders are still very wary of his pace, even though you would suggest it is dwindling. I still think teams are reluctant to see him left 1-on-1, or they will drop off a little bit, knowing that, or even just thinking about the threat he's got in behind. I think the criticism he's come in for has been a little bit over the top. However, I thought he was really poor on Saturday. It's Bowie +1, whether it's Boyle or Kluge, I really don't mind. But Kluge has looked good. I think if he goes like sort of 3 genuine midfielders, if that makes sense, like just sort of a flat, sort of more robust midfield, then I think I'd lean towards Boyle. If it's more like a sort of a 2 then a 1 in terms of maybe McGrath playing as a 10 with Chaiwan, Mulligan behind him, for example, then I'd maybe go for Kluge. I don't know why. It just in my brain, I can't really quantify that. That's probably where I would lean. Yeah. A lot of chat about tactics today. Liam will be spewing if he even listens. We've lost Harry, Craig. We've lost Harry. That's what we've bored him to death. There is absolutely nothing to fear though going to Ibrox. We won there obviously last time out. We drew with them at Easter Road earlier in the season, even at one of our lowest ebbs at the start of last season, but for a very poor penalty, but in generally speaking, we probably deserved a point there. The squad should be full of belief to think we can actually go to Ibrox and win though.
Yeah, like I said earlier, you just need to watch them this season. Even if you forget anything that we've done this so far this season, they're poor at the moment, and they're in a very, very, very vulnerable state at the moment. Obviously, I think should we go there and get a result at the weekend, I would be very, very surprised if Russell Martin manages to make Monday still in a job. But from our point of view, we went to Legia Warsaw and won in 90 minutes, 3-2. So absolutely, we can go to Ibrox and beat Rangers. And I honestly don't think the players will have fear in them. I don't think it's at this stage in time. I don't think it's like years and years ago where you were going to Ibrox really hoping to maybe nick a win or sitting and get a draw or whatever. Like I think we should and will be going there almost expecting to win actually, because I think we're the better side at the moment. So I would expect us to win.
And I think it's a really valid point you mentioned about Warsaw as well. Like I think you go to Partizan and win comfortably. You go to Warsaw and perform the way we did, and like you say, win in the 90 minutes. Obviously, it ended in disappointment. But go to Midtjylland, less of an intimidating atmosphere. But their games should stand us in amazing stead for this season, where the team will have we probably won't play in a more sort of quote intimidating atmosphere this season. I don't care what anyone says. I don't think going to Tynecastle or Ibrox, certainly not Ibrox just now, or even Celtic Park will sort of compare to sort of the games in terms of the atmosphere that they've played in Europe away from home. So I think they should be full of confidence. We're still unbeaten in the league, obviously, and at the end of the day, we have beat this. It's maybe not the same Rangers side, but we beat them the last time we played them. And they are third bottom of the league. Yes, you're going to a 50,000 seater stadium and whatnot, but they're yet to win a league game this year. So we should be full of confidence. Can I get a score prediction from you?
You can, mate. I'm going to say I think we'll see a slightly different Hibs side defensively. Like I said earlier, I sensed major frustration for Gray, and I think he's going to change stuff off the back of it. So I think we'll be a lot more sound at the back, and I think we'll get a clean sheet actually, and I think we'll win. I think we'll win 3-0.
Oh, how would that compare to the Hampden game? Do you think?
Obviously, it's difficult to say until you've lived it, I suppose, because the Hampden game was right up there.
There was no expectation that night, that's for sure.
No, that was kind of, I'm not going to say roles reversed. I don't think Rangers were really particularly flying high at that point, but they obviously they had just appointed Van Bronckhorst at that point, and they were all there in the orange gear, and there was little to no expectation on Hibs. So,
and they were top league, weren't they, I think?
Oh, mate, you couldn't even guess. So I can't decide in my head if I'm being delusional by saying that, but I just think if I base it off my positive side and say, well, they're just rotten, there's not going to be much reaction for them, I think we should go there with bags of confidence and go there and really play our game. Let's not worry about the Rangers crowd getting behind them or anything. Let's actually frustrate them, get them on the backs, and go away and win the game comfortably.
Yeah, I think it'll be 3-1 Hibs, and that's not a. We've been on here going to Celtic Park, going to Ibrox, wherever. Oh, hi, we're going to win, and you actually, you're just sort of saying that because you don't want to say that you're sort of fearing the worst. There's a very real possibility that Hibs don't win the game on Saturday, but I think there's a very, very real possibility that Hibs win the game and win the game quite comfortably.
Aye.
Maybe it's a dangerous place to be in terms of going there being confident of, I was going to say 3 points of progressing in the cup, but it's a cup game, evening kick-off. Keep them at bay for sort of 10-15 minutes. I think their crowd will start to turn. Obviously listening to the radio on the way to the Hibs game on Saturday, and you could hear you could hear the crowd at Ibrox coming across the radio. It's so disgruntled. So go, keep it tight. I totally agree with what you said earlier. Bowie up against their centre backs. Don't care if it's Suter or Jigga or. I think they did sign a Canadian boy, didn't they? But
they brought somebody else on.
I'll be honest though, like. If I was to have one slight concern is that they might ring the changes, but I think Hibs would be a nightmare game for players that have never experienced Scottish football. If we get right in their faces, then they won't enjoy that. So I see no reason why Hibs can't go to Ibrox, win the game. The originals singing the original Hibs away, no fucking shed away or whatever nonsense Dundee United were trying to start on Saturday evening. But
and wear the Hibs, please.
that would be sensational. There's absolutely no chance of that happening, though, is there? Like there is absolutely no.
It would just be
chance
battles.
What do you think the ratio of? So there's we've got like 2,500 tickets. What do you think the ratio of, Hibs fans? Now, not everyone will wear a Hibs top, so or the percentage of if you're wearing a Hibs kit in the stand on Saturday night, what do you think the percentage is that they're the 150th kit?
Oh, well, going by all the complaints about the online sales, there'll probably not be that many because nobody seemed to get one. but, I'll certainly be there with mine on and bells and whistles as well. So, I
think it will at least be every second Hibs stops that.
I think there will be plenty of them there because everybody knows that that's going to wind the Rangers fans up, which ultimately is as football fans, as the Rangers fans do as well. It's your goal when you go or one of your goals is to wind up the opposition fans. So
absolutely. Well, Craig, it's been a pleasure. Unfortunately, we did lose Harry there for the last 5-10 minutes. That's been a solid hour. Thank you for indulging in some of my wannabe Pep Guardiola-ness. It's been a good hour. A frustrating Saturday night, but all is well at Easter Road. And look, Hibs are going to be at Hampden by the time we record on Monday next week. Cheers.
Correct.